All right, we'll get started, everybody. Welcome to the February 9th meeting of the Andrews Community Forest Committee. We've got a quorum. We've got 5 folks in person, nobody online. And we'll start by getting a timekeeper and a minutes taker.
I'm happy to be the timekeeper.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Ray.
I'm happy to be the minutes taker.
Excellent. Thank you, Sonia. Next order of business is to approve the January 26th minutes. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
Did they go out before your?
So the minutes normally I don't send out. Normally they just, well, I guess maybe.
Oh, they're at the website.
Yeah, so if you just go to the
Yes.
previous meeting, Duncan will post them as a draft. And you'll just see them at the top of the meeting page, and then as soon as we approve them, he'll go through and change them from a draft to just regular minutes. So they are posted on the town website. This is our off meeting. If nobody's looked at the minutes, we can also just do it at our next meeting. I'd rather do that than for us to approve minutes that we haven't reviewed.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so let's just defer that, so we're making sure that we're doing things right, so. Six.
Hey there.
Hey Dan, how's it going?
Hey, Dan. It is.
It's going. All right, so, yeah, I guess moving on, do we have any additions or changes to the agenda? There's a no. Spotlight this. I guess we don't even really leave this thing right now. I guess it's kind of just distracting. Although I guess we need it for recording. I was gonna say it's kind of.
Somebody might come in or whatever.
Yeah. I was gonna say we turn it off until somebody shows up, but if we don't leave it on, then nobody's gonna see us on the recording. So.
Yeah, and you know they're tuning in to see our.
Right. They might be. I don't know.
Incredibly beautiful faces.
Yeah, right. Well, I think it was our last meeting or a couple meetings ago, or maybe it was RCC. No, I think it was a couple ACFC meetings ago. I forgot to to go on video for the first like 30 minutes. It was just like a black screen for the first 30 minutes. Oh well. Okay, so moving on, we've got trails updates. Ian's not here to show it off, but the trail finder page is now live. There was a link in the agenda to that page. Looks solid to me. So it's too bad Ian's not here, but I would like to thank him for all the work that he did to make that possible.
Yeah. Who's in the picture?
Good question. Folks,
silhouettes. Oh man, I maybe in the middle. Is that a guy? Could that be Daniel? I don't think so. No, and then I was thinking that was maybe Rebecca.
it says UVM Field Naturalist Program.
Oh, okay. So it's back before those. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't. I'm distracted. Sorry. Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty just informational. Ian's not here to say anything about it, so I guess that's all there really is. Check it out. We looked at it last time when it was still in draft mode, and people had a few comments, but by and large, we liked it and told them to go ahead and send it. So he did. Second update for TrailForks, I made some minor adjustments to the TrailForks page. I did split out the Meadow Meander trail into Meadow Meander and the farm road, so that it was accurate, and it's also consistent with the trail finder page. And then I was having a real hard time. Ian sent me a KML file with the boundary, like the actual boundary of the forest that I was trying to import, but I was not having any luck doing that. I'll try again at some point in the future. As I think I mentioned last meeting or a couple meetings ago, I basically ended up doing like a careful trace of the whole
Oh,
thing.
yeah, man.
It was kind of janky, but I think I got really, really close. And because the border on TrailForks is so faint, don't think it's really a big deal. I will try to see if I can do it again. But what I don't want to do is try to upload the KML file and have it wipe out the existing boundary because it took me like 30 minutes to draw it by hand. So I don't want to have to do that again. But that's pretty much all there is for Trails updates. And if there's anything else that folks want done on either of those platforms, Ian's your guy for Trail Finder. I'm your guy for TrailForks. I will remind folks, if anyone wants access to the TrailForks like admin privileges, all you gotta do is make a TrailForks account under your own name. And then let me know. I don't know if I can do it, but I'm in touch with Willie Jacobs from TrailForks, and we can get a number of admins set up. So it's not restricted to just me.
Sam, did you say you did this one by hand? Or which one do you?
I'm talking about the one on TrailForks. That
On TrailForks.
it's really faint. But if you, I don't know if it was.
There's TrailForks.
Where is it?
Oh,
Yeah, so it's like
blue line?
really, really faint blue line. And I traced it out based on the map that we had from.
Oh, yeah, I didn't have it. Well,
Yeah, that's not bad, man, for freehand, and I'm impressed.
I mean, it wasn't exactly a freehand. It was basically I had two tabs open.
Yeah.
One with the Arrowwood map,
Uh-huh.
and then one with TrailForks, and I basically zoomed the maps into the exact same level.
Yeah.
And then I basically would just like do a line, and then I would like drag both maps until they were, and I would put my finger on the screen and
Yeah.
make sure the same point lined up.
Yeah.
And then I would do it again. That's why it took so long.
Well done, man. Well
So-
done.
Yeah,
But the thing is it's really there mostly for trail organization on
right.
TrailForks
That's
and
right.
for managing the trails, and all the trails within that zone like can be lumped into the ACF group. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it needs to be perfect. It's not the
No.
map we're going to be using for people building trails or anything. So
Right.
I might just call it good.
And
But
if you're a TrailForks user, you don't really care about that blue line.
Nope.
It's
No,
not-
we
don't.
It's not anything that you are looking at.
we just want to cover the trail.
Yeah.
If you're a hunter though,
You
that
are
might
your
be
hunter. Yeah.
valuable to you.
that's true. Although I don't think hunters are using TrailForks. They're probably using, Onyx, or they're using, or if we end up publishing a georeferenced file that we can put into Avenza, I think
Yep.
those are the maps that they're going to be looking
Yep.
at. So I think it's fine.
Does the hunter on the Onyx, does that use the town?
Yeah,
cadastre map?
it's the state's database.
That's okay.
So they're squishing boundaries to try to get them to fit.
Gotcha.
It's not as accurate as what you're doing.
Yeah, and it's also, I think if you use the town data, it's usually pretty slow to update, because I've used a few apps like that.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes like 3 or 4 years for
Yes.
the landowner to update. So like I remember looking at my plot when I bought my house, and it was like 4 years before it switched over to
Yeah.
finally say my name. Like I didn't really care, but I just
Yeah.
knew that it was definitely not accurate.
Right.
Yeah,
So it's a little slow. I'm not sure
Fair enough.
how, like if they occasionally just re-pull the data. I don't know if they have like a mirror of it, or if they just like hit, a database or something, but I wouldn't be surprised if they just periodically refresh the data and then just keep their own copy, which is maybe why it takes so long to upgrade.
Did you say Chimera?
No,
Chimera? CH.
a mirror. I think I said a mirror.
Just to say, that's a cool technical term.
Yeah, right. Okay, well, I think that's probably good for trails updates. So let's move on to the buffer maps. Again, we don't have Ian here. He was kind of running point, but we do have Dan. There's not much to say here aside from the map is, as far as I know, basically going to John Haddon at this point. There was one thing, Ian and you might have been on the thread as well, Dan, but Ian and Brad and I were talking a little bit about, there was one missing set of hemlock stands from Arrowwood that for some reason wasn't on the map that we had talked about in our meeting. But it got added. So basically there were just a couple of small so there was one other published map for hemlock that mostly overlapped all of the data we already had, but there were a couple spots. One was in the middle of that central wildlife corridor, and the other one was, there were a couple of very small ones to the east of that. there's an old logging road that's pretty easy to walk just past the wetland area. So that soggy area on the former Bass Trail, if you were walking west to east and you got through that soggy spot and then took your next left, if you go up there, you're kind of flanked by hemlock on both sides. It's pretty clearly hemlock, and those weren't on the map, but they were mapped out by Arrowwood, and I guess just hadn't imported that map. So
Do you know if it's on the final version that Ian sent us?
yes, it is. So Ian got it all set up, and so it should
As
be.
long as it's on there,
Yeah.
it should be good.
So yeah, that's really the only, I just wanted to mention that for informational purposes. There were a couple very small hemlock stands that ended up getting added that weren't on the attached map from the meeting that we had discussed before, but it was data that came from Arrowwood. And so, you know, it's a well-sourced material and should have been on there, and we just missed it. So yeah, I think that we're good there. The only other point that I had to mention on the map was Dan, are you working with John directly, or is Jeanette, or is Ian
I'm gonna be the
the point person?
messenger.
Okay,
I'll take everything that this group came up with and Ian's map, and then we'll meet with John.
okay,
He's probably not gonna be available until sometime in March.
that's fine. The one thing I wanted to add, which I don't know if we had talked about, was if possible, if it's not too hard to do it, if we could get a like georeferenced version of the map. I don't know, but that might be a big ask. If he's like, no way, then you know, it is what it is. But because we're already using some of that like georeferenced data, I don't know. I mean, Ian might know how to export it to preserve that data or something, but long term, it would be cool if we had that map, because then we could import it into an app like Avenza, and then you could just walk around the forest and see yourself on the map with the buffers, which would be about as good as you can get as far as trail, you know, like walking and flagging trails goes. So I figured I'd throw it out there. That might be
I don't know what georeference means, but.
Just
it sounds
Thank
good.
you. I was gonna ask that.
basically just means that there's like GPS data built into the map so that it can be imported into a program that puts you on the map. So
Yeah.
So you hold your phone.
so like the US Geological Survey, you know, does maps like that. And so if you want
Linux
to,
does that.
yeah, exactly. So
I mean, I think from what I remember of the first map, John used shape files that were supplied by either UVM
okay,
or not UVM, Arrowwood,
okay,
and also County Forest.
okay. And those might have,
May have
yeah,
gotten some from UVM.
and those
So,
I'm not
Whatever,
a
if
map
those are
pro.
georeferenced, yes, but if they're not, then
Then no.
we would be back to the drawing board.
Okay, well, we don't want to go back to the drawing board.
No.
I think it's just worth asking, like, hey, can you tell if there's like the location metadata in these maps? And if
Yeah,
so,
we certainly ask.
it's one thing to like, you know, export it as like a PDF or whatever, just so we can easily post it around and
Yeah.
people can share it. But if it's possible to also export it as some kind of map type that retains that location
We'll
data.
ask. Basically, it was Ethan Tapper and Arrowwood supplied.
Okay.
From what I read too, it looks easy. I asked AI how to get a georeference, and what you can do is just take a map. Like we have, I assume, and you physically go out there and you find like the corner. A corner survey point or something that's already on your map, and then say, here I am. And it'll say,
Oh, okay.
okay, you're at Black Lawn, then you go to another one or two.
Oh, great.
Then the computer figures the rest of it out. You give
Oh,
it,
great. Okay,
you create a couple of known references,
well,
just with
okay.
your phone, so.
Well, that's good. So I guess it's really not that big a deal. If it's worth asking, if
Yeah.
it's easy enough for him to do. If it's not, it sounds like we can take whatever map he gives us and then just do it ourselves.
Sure.
So
Okay, we
that's
will
cool.
ask about georeferencing.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called.
And we could find people,
Yeah.
to go out there and probably do it at the parking lot. I don't know. It doesn't sound too hard.
Okay.
It's an extra step.
Okay, so I think that's enough for mapping. So moving on to the remaining management plan version 2 revisions. Yeah, just wanted to check in on this again. It was a busy last couple weeks for me, and so I was a little discombobulated and didn't get a whole lot of time to work on like the big picture stuff. And I think we have plenty to work on today between education and the combined appendix. So I'm not too concerned for today, but we really are going to have to get like sort of the full map of what what revisions remain. And so I just wanted to like sort of formally have us assign a working group to do that work. And we kind of did it, maybe not so officially last meeting, that like Brad and I and maybe Ian were gonna do it. But I guess there's not a whole lot to say there because I don't have like a big grand plan, but Brad did some good research and found a few old versions of the management plan that I think is the version we're gonna work off of. And then I was able to dig up some sections that had been worked on that seemed to be the most current, but we basically have to go through and make sure like, okay, well, what's the most recent version of the eco section that we did? And what's it's easy for stuff we worked on recently, like we're gonna have a fresh combined appendix, we're gonna have the rec section, which we just finished, like last meeting or the meeting before. We're gonna have education. So those are all fresh and we know what version exists. But a lot of this stuff even predates my time as a chair. And I wasn't keeping track of any of these things. And not all of them are posted on the website. So yeah, we're gonna do our best to try to get one big document, all pulled together. And so yeah, I guess it's more sort of just informational. I don't know if anyone has any interest in participating. I wouldn't blame you if you don't want to, because it's kind of thankless work.
Well, I said to Brad the other day, I felt guilty. I'm not an editor and I know that. So it's a hard place for me to fit in.
I mean,
This need to be that much edited. I think that would be another step.
Okay,
This is mainly, I would think, just kind of putting something together to be it. So
Okay.
get everything, or find out where are we, where did we leave off here and there. Put it all together into one, hopefully Word doc, something that we can all look on Google Docs.
PDF.
Good version and.
I'm happy to help, but I don't want
And
to be a
then
burden.
we figure out the editing. We'll do
Okay.
it internally.
Right,
So, yeah, it's just building a good plan, but not getting into the nitty gritty.
okay.
it's like having good like archival skills where you're just sorting through a bunch of versions of documents and trying to figure out like, oh, is this the most recent one we did or is it not? And it gets confusing because we had that period of time where we kind of didn't know how to do all of our edits on the documents, and we ended up with like 5 different versions of each section with all their own comments each time we met.
Right.
Until we finally kind of realized like, oh, like we'll just do
Yeah.
like the share on screen, we're all looking at the same version, and it took us a remarkably long time to figure out how to do that effectively. So ultimately, as a result of that, we just have a lot of random versions floating around where it's like, okay, I've got 30 versions of the management plan. Which one do we want to use? And so just trying to sort through what is the most current. And so we're not accidentally working from an old version.
Doesn't Ian need to be a part of this? Because he was the curator.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he will, we basically said we would tag him in.
Right.
I think Brad and I are gonna do first pass. I mean, I think Ian's been pretty busy, and he did pass off a decent amount of material to me and to Brad. So I have a lot of I just have like a document dump of stuff like that he had, but it wasn't really all that organized.
Right.
So it's a lot of information, which is good to have. There's also stuff that's in the Andrews Community Forest Gmail accounts, like Google Drive. So there's stuff there, which I totally forgot about and you found, which was
Really?
hugely helpful.
Really.
And then, so basically I think the plan is we're taking a lot of the versions that were all published and circulated of the management plan were all PDFs, which as we know are very unhelpful when you're trying to edit because like trying to convert them back into something editable is a huge challenge. But there's a version of the management plan in a docx format in the Google Drive for the Andrews Community Forest email. And so we're basically going to start with that, but then start bringing in all the edits from all the sections we did individually. So basically rip out the rec section, put in the rec section we just approved. rip out the education, put in the education in, you know, like, so we can basically piece it together and make sure that we're not starting completely fresh and missing something that should have been there that's now missed.
Right.
So we're gonna have to kind of like carefully like cut and paste the stuff in to make sure that we've got the right sections in the right places.
Right.
So it's just gonna take a little bit of time, but hopefully we'll have two things for next meeting. One, at least a rough full version of the management plan that has all these pieces we've worked on that are all like in their places, along with a separate document like the one that I showed that was not up to date, but was very helpful, which was a list of all the management plan sections, along with the last date that we worked on the document.
Yes.
And I want to update those so that they also have the month, because they just were saying year, and that's not very helpful. In a year like this past year, we had like 25 meetings, you know, so it's just like, okay, well, it was last updated in 2025, but was it in March or was it in, you know, December?
And which March?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, exactly.
first or
We had
second
two,
meeting.
yeah, two different meetings, yeah. So like I basically was going back through every single meeting and looking at all the packet attachments and trying to like just make sense of like all the stuff we've had and figure out like, okay, well, when's the last meeting that we ever saw a version of the eco section? And then, you know, potentially having to cross-reference that. Typically, it's in the packet because that's when we would have approved and signed off on that section. But then sometimes you have to go back and look at the emails that were circulating during that same time frame. So you kind of have to like go back in time to whatever meeting has the content you're looking for, and then search your mailbox during the same window. Which like I don't have anything before I was on the committee, right? So yeah, it's just gonna take a little bit of time, but I think that Brad and I have the capacity to get through that. And, you know. Yeah, if for some reason, like, we feel like we can't manage that in time for next meeting, I think we'll let you know, and I think we'll. Probably be able to figure something else out to work on,
You know, the good news on this surprised the heck out of me. If you look at the current management and what we've done, there isn't that much left. Because the bulk of that, we've taken a lot of stuff, moved to the appendices, right? And the upfronts, the stuff that remains isn't much at all. It's good. It's, you know, nitty gritty governance. So it may not be that difficult.
yeah, which was sort of my hope when I gave the, you know, the timeline, thinking like, you know, hopefully we can get this done in like a few months, and it's not gonna take us another 6 months.
Oh.
So I think we are close, but this is really necessary work for us to get our bearings and make sure like, yeah, we are as close as we think we are, and here are just the final few things that we need to touch, so. So yeah, I guess that's all there really is to say there. Stay tuned. There will be hopefully a full updated management plan that we can kind of look at the entire flow. And I think that's the version that's gonna go out, like the early version. I guess we might need to talk again about the like copywriter stuff, although like, I don't know, yeah, I guess maybe we talk about that next meeting.
So what do you mean by go out? That's.
Well, so
out.
yeah, there was a flow chart that I created.
Yeah,
That had basically our timeline, which we've not stuck to, but the general flow is still the same, which is like. That we were going to send the management plan out for like an early you know, preview or like an early look. To RCC, so the Conservation Commission, the Trails Committee, and the Select Board. And they were basically going to get that version for content. And our thought was, we're not going to make any big changes to the content after that point. We're basically at that point just doing, you know, formatting and punctuation and grammar. And that was hopefully going to be done by the copy editor, and not by us, but it might end up being done by us. But in either case, as soon as we feel like we have like the content done on the management plan, there might be a few things we need to like fuss with to make it look nicer. But the plan is that's when we would first send it out to these other committees to basically say like, hey, here's the version that like that we all signed off on, or that we signed off on, you know, collectively as a committee. Please take a look. We might make some minor adjustments, but none of it's going to change the content. It's just going to change like the formatting to make it look nicer. But then when we get our feedback, then we can basically take the new polished version that looks nicer and then incorporate any, we're probably gonna have to like incorporate, or at least talk through the suggestions we get from those committees, right? So if, any of those committees say like, hey, we think you really need to reconsider like this, that, or the other thing, we'll probably reopen those items for discussion and then, talk about them and then vote on how we want to proceed. Because then it's gonna go probably to public feedback. We might need to ask the select board what they want, but after that, it's probably gonna go to, one, few little adjustments. And then we're gonna send it, I guess maybe gonna have another full like public feedback meeting where members of the public can say, hey, great job, or hey, terrible job, or, hey, we like it, but here are a couple things we'd like to see changed. And then one last, hopefully small touch up. And then it basically goes to the select board and land trust to approve. So that's like that's the goal. Yeah, so yeah, we'll talk more about that next time, I guess, as an action item for next meeting. We should bring back up the copy editor stuff, but I don't know, it seems. The more I think about it, like the less necessary it seems. I'm cool with like taking a few days off of work and just like.
A couple of us can tinker with it.
Basically going through the document, just like rebuilding it, like, and I think it'll be fine because sending out an RFP and, waiting for the bids and then like, choosing somebody and like looking at their timeline, that's just gonna extend things probably by a few months. And I think it's reasonable that if I like locked myself in the room for a few days, I could probably get it done, so.
That's very generous offer, Sam.
Well, yeah, we'll see, I'll probably regret that, but I think it's doable,
That's, I think what
I
happened.
think it'd be very hard to attune a copy editor into everything that we know about this.
Yeah, exactly.
Spend
Well, we don't wanna
almost
burn you
time
out either.
editing that.
Well, it'll be the thing is it'll be the final, well, that's why I was saying like, I wouldn't do this on the weekends. I would just take time off of work. Cause then it, like my workload still kind of remains the same, right?
Right.
And then that way, I'm not just, gonna overburden myself. Also, when we do that, the light at the end of the tunnel is we're going back to one meeting a month. And like,
Right.
also there's gonna be this huge like sigh of relief once we finally get this version
Right.
done. So like, I think that even if it is like a bit of a sprint at the end, and it might be a little tiring for the folks that work on that last little piece. I think it's gonna feel so liberating to finally be done with this stuff. Even if like, we do get some negative comments on sections of the management plan, it's still gonna feel great to like have finally got through all the sections, completely rebuild the thing, make sure that like the flow like makes sense. And I think that it'll be worth it, even if it is going to be a bit of work. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's the way forward. We can talk about it more next meeting, but my gut feeling is getting a copy editor doesn't make sense because of the timeline and because of the unpopularity of paying somebody to do that work after we've spent so much time to do so much work on the management plan. I mean, I've been directly told by multiple people on this select board that the thought of having a copy editor is unpopular, and people in the town also had things to say about it. But when it was brought up at a select board meeting, multiple people
I
like
think that $10,000 number scared me.
it did, and rightly so. I mean, that was a really big number. I mean,
Yeah.
it should have been like $1,000. But oh well.
Well, if we make a little history, I think Ian's idea was that individual would be responsible for figuring out what the answers were to all our unresolved issues. And that idea was never gonna work.
Right. Yeah, we had to figure it out ourselves, right? We can't just like pawn that off on somebody else.
So it's so I think that was originally where it came from. I don't think it was actually. Well, and also I think it was like the rhythm, the amount, the pace of editing. When we had the original document, there was like little notes all over it that we were all gonna go through. It was gonna take pretty much as long as it has taken. So we did the thing instead of trying to accelerate.
I agree.
And so I think it's probably necessary. at this point.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, so we'll talk about it, I guess, for a few minutes next meeting, but I think we kind of just talked through it now. And I guess that gives you 2 weeks to decide if I'm like actually making this offer, but I think I am. So, well, we'll see.
So am I. So we will,
So we're
we'll be
getting,
carrying the whole.
That would be great. So like my thought, yeah, I mean, I guess we could just talk about this for like a little bit longer. My thought is maybe there's a first pass on formatting. But you know, you've clearly been the best at like editing sentences for grammar and it's like
No retention.
yeah, I mean it takes all types
Clear.
like you've always had the best, you know, I think prose out of the group and it's been really helpful. So if I can get through some of the challenging like formatting stuff and like rebuild it, like if you want to, you know, take a pass at editing it, or we could even, you know, make time to just sit in a room together and do it if that's like better for you. I could make that work. So
Even individually, and then just, you know, aligning notes.
yeah, that would be fine too. That would be just fine. We would just want to come up with like a sort of like a timeline, like, okay, I'm gonna take these 2 days off of work. Here's when I plan to have the management plan completely reconstructed with all of the pieces in place that we have worked on. And then after that date, it would get passed on to you and I guess whoever else. I think that it would make more sense to pick one person to work on the grammar, you know, rather than to have like, all right, we're gonna send it out to 3 different people, they're all gonna make their notes, and then you have to do like a, you know, there's sort of like, there might be conflicts between people's suggestions, so I think it would be good if we basically just had one person that agrees to do all like the formatting stuff, and then, you know, maybe somebody after who, in formatting it, might be able to clean up a couple things like here or there, as long as it's like, just little like obvious things here, like, oh, the formatting's bad, or like clearly this is bad grammar, but really not editing anything for content. Because what we don't want to do is end up with the edited version with any of the like heart of what we've discussed changed, because that's kind of upending all of this work that we've done these last few years to make sure that we're all on the same page. So we can't really change it that much. It should just be for clarity and just for good, you know, grammar, punctuation, and you know, format. Great. Well, we'll talk about that a little bit more next time, but the goal will be for next meeting to have the like the fully assembled like draft management plan with the updated pieces, and then the spreadsheet of all the sections, and when and I guess maybe even where we found the most recent version of it, just so we can make sure that we're on the same page. And then, yeah, so I guess now we should probably go to
revisions?
Do you want a mention in the minutes about, assigned to working group for 223? Under D,
what would you like to put in the minutes for that?
I'm asking if you want anything put in the minutes for that.
Oh,
The group that,
yeah,
get what we need for the next meeting. You and I,
yeah, I think it's you and I, and we'll tap in if we're confused about, you know, what the most recent version is of some document, and if we can't find what we're looking for. Speaking of, hi Ian. Sorry, I have this pinned now, so.
So we're moving on
there
to,
hey, Ian.
we're moving to the next topic.
Yes, we are gonna move on to the education section. Which means it's time for me to share my screen. Um,
And I was in your office the other day, having fallen off a ladder and being 70 and hitting my head.
Oh, gosh.
They were
Okay.
so fat. Oh, yes, fine. I got stitched up and
Yeah.
they take it very seriously. Ladder, age, and head wound.
Yeah.
And
Good.
I had a wheelchair under me in 15 seconds.
Wow.
That was great. They were really,
Everything all right?
yeah, everything's fine.
You knew what day it was? You knew?
I got up
where-
and, yeah, I was advised to go to the hospital, so,
Wow.
but anyway, they were really
Good.
and a surgeon out of Nashville,
Oh,
young guy out of Nashville, you're in the emergency room.
Yeah.
He doesn't, I told him he didn't have an accent. 35, tall, skinny, dark hair. knows his way around a needle?
All right, I'm gonna call the meeting back. So
Or, sorry,
moving on, to the education
That's good.
section.
Wow.
yeah.
We put Nashville in the minutes.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Well, I thought you were getting ready. I was just.
No, yeah,
commentary.
no, it's okay.
I'm sorry.
Thank you for filling the space. I wasn't ready and then I was ready, which is why I cut you off. Okay, so yeah, we've got the education section. And I didn't really get many or any comments on it. So I had a couple like really minor ones. But I think we can just kind of go through. I'm assuming people have had a couple chances to look at this document because it's been in the packet a couple times and we didn't get to it last meeting. So I'm hoping that we're gonna zip right through this and it's gonna be pretty non-controversial.
Is this the version that Ian also had comments on?
No. His comments were on the, the previous
But
version
they're
of the
incorporated.
combined.
They're already incorporated into this.
You're talking about the
Oh.
appendix, right?
Oh, he did have comments on this. You're right.
Just so I'm not like making any assumptions here, because I've had so much going on. Did anyone in this room or online submit any comments on the education section?
Besides him.
Well, including me, because I need to find
Yes,
that version.
if I'm hearing
said he's-
correctly, I annotated the version that's on the in our agenda in the packet. Put a few notes in that. I can
Yeah.
pull it up in front of me and point to things, but I think they were all rather minor. But I believe I
Okay.
sent it to co-chairs.
Yeah.
Okay, I can go find that version, or if you want to bring up those edits as we go through, we can just do them in line.
Cause I didn't submit. But I looked at that and thought that they were good comments.
Okay, that's great. I mean, it's fine. Like I didn't integrate. I guess I didn't integrate those comments, but if people have comments, I guess pull them up so you have them. This is a very short document, so we can basically go through and then just, hit everybody's comments and hopefully integrate them and then move on to the appendix.
His came in at 1:35 yesterday.
Oh, yesterday. Gotcha. Okay, I guess
Mhm.
that's why I didn't see them because I was
Yeah.
busy. And that's my fault because this thing came out so late. So apologies for that. So I guess we'll just do paragraph by paragraph. I'll start with the stuff that's already on the screen and then I'll just ask if anyone else has comments on each paragraph. We can talk about it and then, just do it that way.
And then Ian, can you jump in with any comments? Because you had some too, I think. On this.
Yeah, so we'll go per paragraph. I'll do the ones on the screen first. And then if Ian has comments on any paragraph that we're working on, he can just raise his hand and then he can let us know and then
Yeah.
we'll talk about them.
Okay.
So, first up, I don't know whose comments these were, this might have been mine, but changing has the potential to, and instead to just use should. Means, seems pretty,
We had it.
Should, will.
Most.
yeah, it's a little bit more, I don't know, prescriptive. And it's like, it's gonna be more encouraging to try to actually achieve some of this stuff if we're using that language. So that's the only edit for the first paragraph. Ian, does anyone else have any edits on the first paragraph? Okay, moving on.
I would strike the first sentence of that second paragraph. I think it's redundant.
Just get rid of
Feels
this.
strangely marketing oriented.
Yeah, that's a good call.
I don't think it's necessary.
Well, you do want to build up the opportunity, right? I mean, but we're already doing that.
Well, I think the rest of the paragraph was, I
Yeah, okay. I see.
don't know what a premier site for environmental and cultural education.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Only site, I mean, I'm not sure we have to qualify it at all, we just have to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm cool with that. It is, I agree, it is a little bit weird to say premiere.
You just say, hey, site.
Well, I mean, the first paragraph always says we're gonna provide the
Yeah.
community with formal and informal educational
Oh.
experiences. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important to look at the whole context. Isn't it?
So in the second sentence, can you then add an ACF committee?
Right,
Oh, sure.
yeah.
Just to. Just,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and actually, now that you mention that, we start saying ACF without saying,
what it is.
yeah.
Yep.
Oh, no, sorry,
Yeah,
sorry. We haven't talked about the committee, right? I'm sorry, actually, am I misstating it? We don't say.
So we
Well,
have-
the first paragraph, it does go to ACF in the third sentence.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Interest Forest and ACF. I mean, I'm assuming that
But we haven't
people,
talked about the
Yeah, I think
committee.
that's just.
The ACF committee, there,
That's
right.
interesting.
Yeah.
We'd have to do the parentheses.
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, so. Do we need it?
I don't like should.
Yeah,
Can we
Yeah.
delete should and just put provides?
yeah.
Does that say it?
It does.
Well, it hasn't done it yet, so,
Needs
don't-
to?
yeah, I don't like saying that it's doing something that it hasn't done yet. Because this is basically telling us what we should be doing in the forest, because further down, we've got
Yeah.
our objectives and we've got our actions, and so this is the lead up. To tell us, here's why we have our objectives and our actions.
With the opportunity for formal and informal. How about
So
that?
how about provides the opportunity for,
Yes,
provides the,
the community with the opportunity.
Yeah,
with the,
yeah, a long time ago, there
okay,
was something like this and it was fixed with that kind of a fix. Because otherwise it sounds like we're jamming this down, like we're okay, everybody.
We have-
Do it our way.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
come into this meeting and we're gonna teach you something. Yeah. That's good.
okay, so. We got rid of the other sentence, now I'm wondering, do we need this? Do we need, the spacing on this looks weird to me now. Could this all be one paragraph or two paragraphs instead of? A 2-sentence paragraph and then 2 1-sentence paragraphs?
We'll leave it to the editing process.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
I'm not fussed about
Sure.
the content is on money.
And I guess just get rid of so that's that for what was on here. Ian, did you have any comments for just this first little section, the first 3 paragraphs?
No, I think my comments come in the next section.
Okay, cool. So moving on to regional models for success. Oh, okay.
He's the per-
Okay, cool. So not,
And he could, talk about these. So I can.
got it. So I guess no comments on this.
Ian's got some.
Ian?
Oh.
Yeah, I think I got a few words that I wanted to change, but the general theme of it was to identify opportunities as well as challenges. It seemed that this section was dwelling too much on challenges and not seeing opportunities.
You're talking about this section, starting here with challenges and opportunities?
Yeah, right, right, it's true, we have a bulleted list of challenges and not a bulleted list of opportunities, although.
Yeah.
The rest of the document is one of the opportunities.
So do we want to just call this section challenges?
Well, if we do, we could call it challenges and we could put it at the end. Cause
That's a good
it
point.
would be weird to just start with challenges and leave it right there.
Yeah.
I think really what we're after is all these objectives. And then, by the way, look out, there's a ton of ticks and it's kind of steep.
Yeah, that's good.
Right.
Or, you could do is, if you scroll down, move up the subheading educational objectives and actions. Cause it's really a preamble to that. And just put that in where challenges are. You see, keep going. It
Sorry,
says
I was
not,
just trying to reorient myself.
it's like 9.1. It's on the next page. Up the top there. So you just take that heading and substitute it for challenges and opportunities. Cause it,
Yeah, but
This is-
then it goes through a bunch of limitations and challenges.
well, it's just part of the setup, and then here's how we get.
Right,
here's
right.
how we
I guess
get-
I'm saying though, like, why, if we're saying, I mean, really, this plan is about what we want to do for education, right?
Yeah.
And so we should start with that, and then.
By the way, we got some challenges.
Yeah, and then just put challenges in, I mean, you know, take it into, go ahead and do all this stuff and look
Sure.
out, it's
Sort of a
you know, it's-
downer up front.
Yeah, exactly, it's not really, it doesn't get you motivated to go out there and educate.
So it seems like we could, yeah, maybe change this. Basically, all the bullet points are challenges.
Yeah.
These are sort of the opportunities right here.
Well, that's true.
And then maybe, I don't know, it's weird to just call this opportunities. So maybe we just change the name of this.
Hmm.
We get rid of challenges and we put the I like the idea of putting the challenges at the end. So if you guys don't mind me just like kind of hacking this up right now, can we just see what this looks like if we maybe,
Right in front of partnership.
Yes.
yeah, I would say partnerships would become 9.3.
Yeah.
Challenges becomes 9.2.
Yeah.
Certain for the fate of my existence. Okay. At least got a bullet point there, so then let's get this. So we remove that. Put this here. We'll come back to that later. So now, if we go back up here, we've got, it's just called opportunities now. I guess what we could do is just get rid of opportunities. Maybe we can just tuck all this underneath
Right,
9.1.
no, Brad's suggestion, right, makes a lot of sense, yeah.
So let's just get rid of that and then do this. Whoops.
And that's in the spirit of getting to the objectives really quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we did before the other ones.
Yeah, and then just cut the last sentence of that first paragraph, so.
Last sentence of the first paragraph. Oh yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I like that better. I don't know if we need this anymore, because this was talking about the challenges.
Yeah,
So maybe this goes at the bottom, like under challenges. So we just have two there, and then challenges, we'll say like, write something here. And we'll do that in a second. So now we just have this below's list of objectives and tasks. Yeah, okay, cool. So we good to move on to objectives? Great, all right. Any comments on objective 1?
well, I just want to be clear, when it's a verb, that means this committee is committing to doing these things, right? Develop, improve, facilitate, partner, provide. Or committing to finding someone who will do it if it's not the committee itself, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is like us setting a charge for, like, these are aspirational goals, right?
Yeah.
Things that we would like to do
Yes.
That's our plan.
once we were finally not doing this plan.
I just have a general comment. One of the most interesting pieces of the plan is the forestry management plan. And in terms of education about what's happening with the trees and the different stages of the forest and all that stuff. So I don't know, and I don't know if it's necessary, but it may be, I mean, one thing I would be excited to learn about as a citizen is like, what's the history of the forest? What's the health of the forest? Where is it at? What does it mean to have all these, forestry plans? So I just wonder if there's, if it's kind of implicit in there. Number one, if it's
Third bullet maybe.
Yeah.
It does, it's
the
not,
natural history.
it's not explicit. Well, the cultural,
Right. right,
habitat stewardship projects,
That's a really good
that's
thing.
forestry.
Yeah, right.
Is there a separate bullet that could be, continue to engage the county forester to
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
advise us and educate us
Right.
on.
right. Yeah, I think of those incredible YouTube videos that Ethan did in the forest.
Right, yeah,
And,
yeah.
That's fascinating. Yeah, maybe, right, partner with the community forester for.
Education.
Yeah, so I'm wondering like, just like where that would lie, right? Because we have
Probably
other,
there,
we have
yeah.
other things like
Yeah.
increase access to nature-based programming for the general public.
Yeah,
Um,
I think probably now
So that-
four number four.
yeah, so it could be one, it could be objective one, could be objective three. I just wanna make sure we tuck it in the right spot. Or, you know. So if this is. This first one seems like it's specifically geared towards schools and community groups.
Yeah,
So I would argue that like Forester stuff maybe would go into three.
yeah,
Um,
Yeah.
it's a, you know, it's a great comment, and I think we should add it, but. I think we wanna make sure that these are pretty targeted objectives.
Good. That's fine.
That third bullet there, you could say forest management and habitat stewardship problems.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
A lot of the habitat stewardship work is through forest management.
That's a
Right.
good, that's a good point.
what about if we said forestry management, just to separate it?
Forestry. yeah.
Forestry. You don't even need the word management.
We're the forest.
Forestry.
That's right, that's what it is.
Okay, cool.
do
And
we
then,
need management then?
No,
No.
there you go.
Okay,
Good. Either above that or below that, because we moved around, I'm now confused. We talk about book groups, book clubs. And I think there's a better way to say that.
yeah.
And I don't know if it may be down below, but I now can't remember.
Yeah, it's under objective two,
All
so
right.
we can do that in a second.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
The same thing happens to me, like I'm scrolling around and I'll just like suddenly flash a alert.
Right.
It's weird how that happens.
All right.
Okay, is there anything else we want to adjust with the action items on this first one for providing education opportunities?
Great, I mean, these are all ideas that don't limit action, but you know, we can do as much as we want if we have.
Yeah.
better Ideas later. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, these are, yeah, this is just kind of to get the, I guess, juices flowing. Like if something that isn't on the education section comes up and there's some opportunity, I don't think it's like this, it's not like you can only do the things that are in here. This is just,
Right.
this is a place for us to look when we're like, hey, what could we be doing better?
Well, but we are obligating ourselves, I mean, we are obligating ourselves to all these things, are we not?
To at least attempt to pursue them, yes. I mean,
So
I feel
we're
like,
not limiting, but we should be careful a little bit.
True.
Because
yeah,
I think we're taking on obligations if we put this in the management plan with birds.
yeah,
Yep.
You could start with something like the following goals.
yeah.
and the priority, there's a priority list here too.
I guess I'm not sure like what we would do to develop, if we are really digging in here about like what would we actually want to do, like improving the kiosk content with it, like the kiosk and digital resources, like that seems very achievable. I'm not sure what I would come up with or what people have in mind for developing a self-guided tour with interpretive materials for teachers to use on field
But
trips.
we might be able to hire somebody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like cool thing that a lot of nature
Yeah.
reserves or town forests have.
Okay,
Yeah.
like where you put like signs up or something,
Yeah,
or like,
you have a post, it's like, you know, off to the northwest is the fried egg formation of the.
Yeah.
It's all natural.
the-
There's a lot of ways to do it, national parks do it,
Yeah,
and there's ways to do it that are boring and ways that are really engaging.
okay, cool. Well, yeah, I mean, you convinced me. I just want to make sure that, that we are agreeing to things that actually seem achievable and that people have ideas for.
Hey, where do we get that georeferenced map?
Yeah, I know,
right.
You can do
Uh,
pop-ups.
yeah, so that's good. We did bullet 3, partner with educators. I mean, that's pretty simple, and achievable.
What does emergency access mean? Is that like if you need to get a four-wheeler in to pull somebody out or something like that?
Yeah,
Okay,
they crack their head,
yeah.
fall off something,
Yeah.
Fall off a ladder,
fall off a ladder.
and they're 70 years old.
No ladders. Should we make it no ladders in ACF?
No ladders. It
Except
definitely.
tree stands.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good point. Is that?
In the helipad.
right. Yeah, you use that log landing. You can probably land that helicopter. there. Pretty
Is
flat.
indigenous capitalized, Sonia?
Uh,
Objective 2?
Depends
I
on
don't-
the use.
think it should be.
Should be capitalized when referring to the original inhabitants of a specific place, group, or culture.
Yeah, okay. So I guess yes.
I mean, folks themselves who were. Or the ancestors.
Yeah, original inhabitants sounds like
Yeah.
ancestors to me.
Capital A, indigenous rights.
Oh, Ian, sorry, I just saw your hand.
Not indigenous points, let's see.
Yeah, I do have comment about objective 2, because I recognize that we have a lot of material in the appendix about indigenous history, and but that sort of precedes the current membership of the committee, so we're not well informed about it, I believe. Cecilia, of course, was the one. I mean, as I understand it, was the one who really developed the connections, the knowledge that was available about Abenaki history, indigenous history. So I like what I'm getting to is I really like the first bullet, which says put up material in the kiosk sharing the history of Abenaki use and care of the land. And I find that a lot more meaningful than the third bullet, which I know was maybe appears in other places in the management plan about assigning trail names. You know, I think we don't really know where to start with assigning trail names. We have tentative trail names or working trail names at present, which are kind of descriptive of where they came from or where they're going to or what they provide for, and this idea that they would be using Abenaki names for wildlife or for different species seems to be just a lot less meaningful. So yeah, this is a general comment. Let's work on bullet number 1, and if she's available, recruit Cecilia to help identify some specifics in that area. That's my comment then about objective 2.
Thanks, Ian. Yeah, I mean, I think that Cecilia definitely knows the most about this, and you know, it is. I know there's like some, I don't know, contention about who the actual, you know, what was the legit, like who has the legitimate claim, or you know, I'm not very educated on this topic, but I know there's, you know, a few different groups that are sort of, I guess, accusing one another of, you know, not, you know, not being the
You don't
right.
have to describe it. It's just kind of a little bit hot.
Sure. So like, so we would want to be careful about who we reach out to make sure that we're getting guidance from the right people and that we're not just stepping into a mess. Like, I think that this is a nice thought, and I think that's something that we could do. I guess we don't really have to spell it out here. Is my thought was, I think it's nice to use Abenaki names. What you could do is basically have the Abenaki name and then like sort of almost like a subtitle. You know, if we had the sign, the main name is like the Abenaki name of the trail, but then, you know, it's also even an educational opportunity to be like, all right, well, here's the name of like the Abenaki name, and then here's like what it means, you know, like Beaver Trail or whatever, you know. And then that way we are choosing names that honor the types of things that the Abenaki would name a trail after. Because I know that this had come up in the past, and you know, we talked about naming one as like Camel's Hump View or something. And I think Cecilia was like, well, that's not really, or someone had basically said like, it's not really the types of trail names that the Abenaki would give. Right. So I don't think what we should do is choose our own names and try to translate them. Right. I think that we should find an expert and have them help provide us with names that are actually fitting to what, you know, the Abenaki would have used. So I don't really want to, I mean, I don't know, I guess just my personal opinion is I think that's a really like nice gesture and does help educate people, and I don't think it's really harming anyone, especially if you do the dual name thing, like title, subtitle. So I don't really want to get rid of bullet 3, if that's what you're getting at, Ian. I'll be, just because I feel like it's I think it's a really nice thing that we could do, and it is something that I think at least it's sort of tentatively even agreed to. I don't know to whom,
I
but
agree, yeah. I would second that.
Yeah, I think C, start with
think-
C, because we
Okay.
haven't really started anything yet.
sure.
Right, yeah. Yeah, and I feel like, I do feel like I've been over this, and I feel like we agreed that this was a good idea, and I thought it was one of the recommendations from Cecilia back in the day.
Yeah,
And that reflects, might that be to reflect?
Seek guidance, to reflect, where are you seeing that?
Instead of to inform.
No, trails and places to reflect Abenaki heritage.
Oh, in places,
Oh, yeah.
oh, to reflect, to.
Oh, good. Yeah. And just quick up above in that middle one,
Yeah,
book clubs and authors, and it ought to be a semicolon in for authors. Because we got those other comments, and with that, again, that's everything.
okay, yeah.
This was bad. The semicolon continues to baffle me.
Same, honestly.
Semi-colonoscopy.
You gotta go all in. No semi-matic.
Oh, yeah, removal. It's called, I guess.
Okay, so, are we good on this?
I mean, unless Ian has any strong objections, I think we're aligned. I mean, and I actually, Ian, I do agree with you that the first bullet is more meaningful than the last. But I also think that the last one doesn't harm anything, and we have talked about doing that in the past.
It's a reminder.
Yeah.
And it's also, yeah, and it's like, yeah, and it's aspirational, like, we could determine that the politics of it are too messy right now, and that we don't actually have we don't have an expert to reach out to,
Yeah.
and so we can't actually do it even though we want to. So this doesn't mean that we have to name the trails this way, it means that we're gonna make our best effort to try to do it if we can, right? And I think that's all that we're trying to achieve here.
I think Cecilia could be
I think, yeah, a huge resource.
I vaguely remember her, it sounds like she's got a way to get around this internecine warfare.
Yes.
Yeah, and it could be that they would agree on trail names, so we don't need to take a side, you know.
It's
It could
the
be that
same language for both.
Yeah, exactly,
parties.
so,
I mean,
Yeah.
That'll.
Yep,
okay, cool, well, I think we're probably good here, so I guess moving on.
Oh, Ian had one other.
Oh, I'm
Your
sorry,
last deal, I'm speaking for you, Ian, but he was just suggesting in the last bullet, the naming of trails and places, he was just saying natural features instead. Suggesting natural features instead of the word places.
Yeah.
Trails and natural features.
Yeah. How do you say fried eggs and avenue? For example?
Bite of the cookie.
Yeah.
Modes.
yeah,
so can you change book clubs to book groups? I think that might work.
Yeah. The book clubs, book of the month.
Too clubby?
Yeah, little clubby.
Mhm.
What happened to that?
Yeah, thanks for catching that. Thanks.
Yeah.
okay, objective 3, increase access to nature-based programming for general public. Here's where we might want to add our forestry thing,
Yeah,
our forester.
I scroll down from what we're saying, continue to engage the county forester in educational programming, and I missed the last part of your thing, so
Well, I didn't really finish it,
Yeah.
but it's also more than that. It's education, but there may be things going on in the forest. Educational opportunities. Well, things that the committee needs to know. For example, there's a second beach blight that.
but that would be in the forestry management plan, you know what I mean?
Okay.
We ought to
Yeah, I think this
make
is,
sure there's,
All right, yep, you're right, it's the general public, got it.
yeah.
yeah, I would say that we should
Yep.
gear the education more towards the whole community and not this committee.
Gotcha, yep, thank you.
Well, we could copy the bullet point that Dan edited. You know, so you lead seasonal guided walks that highlight the natural history, and then you had a similar bullet in the first one that said including in forestry and, what are we saying in the first one?
Forestry and wildlife management.
Yeah, what, can you
I
go
like
to objective
forestry and
ones?
wildlife
Objective, sorry,
habitat
yeah,
projects.
there
It's,
you go, the third bullet, right?
Facilitate.
Habitat stewardship projects.
Probably, yeah, probably wouldn't be that much different for the general public than it would be for school.
You can just forestry and habitat stewardship on that first bullet list, you know, where it says bird walks. Just add them to that.
Okay, so like,
Snowshoe.
just get rid of
clinics.
the second one and just lump that into the first one.
we can't see where you are. You're typing right below where we can,
I'm not typing it anyway.
oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
No worries.
Well,
So,
we already said it up there. I don't know if we need to say it again.
Right, I mean, it's,
You don't want to
just,
say it twice.
no, that's because we're differentiating between the publics, so the objective is different for. The difference between 1 and 3 is schools versus general public.
Oh, okay.
So I'm saying it's the same activity, it's just a different crowd.
So snowshoe clinics, forestry and habitat stewardship,
Sure.
Sure, sure.
say that again.
comma, after clinics, forestry and habitat stewardship, period.
Events, the events, bird walks, guided hikes, nature programs, mountain bike and snowshoe clinics. Forestry and habitat.
Is forestry an event?
Yeah, how about host events,
Forestry tours,
Yeah,
Relating
forestry
to,
visits.
Hikes, nature, mountain bike, snowshoe, forestry and habitat stewardship clinics.
well, you know what though, Dan, I mean, when would you do that? You would do that on a guided walk, right? So I actually think forestry, habitat stewardship stuff goes into that second bullet point.
Yeah, forestry.
That's fine.
Lead seasonal guided walks that highlight the natural history, you know, forestry and habitat
Yeah, you can do
stewardship,
it down
for
there.
example.
That works.
so we're taking this now and putting it down here.
I think so.
Yeah. Lead seasonal guided walks that highlight the natural history.
comma,
Here.
no,
No,
Right next to the word.
history.
next to natural history. Yep, comma.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I don't think we need during that time of year, because that's what seasonal is.
Right. Yep.
Lead seasonal guided walks that highlight the natural history, forestry,
And get rid of the in front of natural history.
natural
Yeah, that's
history, forestry, and.
Habitat stewardship.
Yeah.
And we need a and in front of mountain bike.
Thank you. Wait,
Because mountain bike and snowshoe clinics is its own thing.
but they're.
and mountain bike
Yeah.
and snowshoe.
Yep.
What, okay.
Mountain bike and snowshoe are describing clinics.
And mountain bikes, I see. I should. Yeah, cool.
This is an interesting one.
I know. was just
I wondered
wondering.
about this one, and I'm just like, I mean, I don't know what people had in mind, but.
I think we could get fish to come to the.
Yeah.
Yeah, force.
Well, there was, early on, there was because of the landing, there was a thought that it is a place to have bands,
Yeah.
music events.
Right.
And that's the genesis of that.
Gotcha.
Maple winds might feel.
I was gonna say.
Well, but it's
Impeded.
also hard to get to. It's really,
Yeah.
that road is so steep, you have to get bussed in or something.
And
But-
also, I mean, I don't think two cars can really pass each other on that road.
It's so steep. It's not,
Yeah,
So. Maybe it doesn't happen at the foot.
It doesn't have to be there.
I don't know if we wanna like promote using that land up there for giant
venue.
events.
You know what it could be though?
Yeah.
What this could be is, take, being present at other public Richmond events. 4th of July.
Right.
Where do you guys show up when you do the Richmond, conservation trips? I mean, you're just out there educating people and telling them it's out there, right?
That's one reason, yeah, that's really gonna make more training.
Right,
It's a license.
right. So
So-
maybe, I don't know if we're gonna have an ACF.
I would-
Music
yeah.
and Arts Festival on its own, but we could probably show up at other people's.
I would say get rid of this bullet, and if we want, we could have an objective 6 that is like promote the ACF.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like,
There you
it
go.
seems like it's its own objective, like if we want to, to notify people about the fact that it exists and the things you can do there. It seems like it would be its
Yeah.
own
Sure.
thing, rather, because that's not really, going to like the farmer's market to tell people about ACF isn't really increasing people's access, it's promotion, it's its own thing.
We could also, in the first bullet, have it say after nature programs, put in cultural events. And that would, well, it says host, maybe, no, never mind.
Yeah,
The third bullet just seems a little granular.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. Doesn't quite fit.
Yeah,
I like it.
yeah, let's get rid of it.
Nothing says we couldn't figure something out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly, like we can do anything not on this list, but if it's going on this list, it's something that we should be
We
pursuing.
gotta do it. And I don't think that third bullet is necessary. You could probably just put the county forester in the list of partners at the bottom.
Yeah, if it's, if they're probably already there.
Yeah, shouldn't do. It's alpha, it's MSC. Shouldn't be county first.
Oh yeah, it's not there, yeah, we'll just add that now.
Ian had a fix in that partner. Speaking for you, Ian, so stop me. You
yeah,
suggest Boy Scouts, go ahead.
are we in? Are we? I'm a little lost. Which section are we looking at then?
I
Currently,
think we're on 4, right? Or are we still on 3?
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, I jumped ahead, never mind.
We're now on 4, because
Objective 4.
I just removed last bullet and we put it down in the partner section.
Yep.
okay. So I don't think I had any comments about that one.
That all sounds like fun. I like objective 4 a lot.
Where did we say we were putting the monitoring program? I know we talked about this at the other meeting. What section did it end up in?
Well, it didn't end up in this section. The thought was that we were gonna finish the management plan and then try to come up with a monitoring program separately.
But we gave ourselves the mandate to do it. That was in
think we-
the ecological.
We built it,
right?
I think ecological anyway.
It might have been direct, actually, because monitoring was tied in with like human use as well. So it was like human and wildlife use.
Yeah.
So I think it was direct, because that was what we most recently worked on.
Alright.
And part of the reason why, like, part of it's a timing thing, right? Because like if we pause to have a whole monitoring section added to the management plan, it's just gonna.
No, we just said, no, and I remember we said, we just mandated ourselves to do it, and so that means when we're done with this, we'll do it. So I'm just wondering if this is redundant to put monitoring program here as well, if we already have it, or if this is
Gotcha.
where it goes,
Um,
and we take it out from the other places. I'm all about one place, one action goes in one place.
The idea would be to bring in citizen science, high school and university.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds like that's how we would get to it. We might get.
I don't think this is the primary place that you talk about the monitoring
Yeah.
program. This is education section. I think it's okay to just mention it here,
We'd say consider partner
but
in the development of. You know what I mean? So they would
But
be,
it needs to live in its own section.
Yeah,
You want to prefer to it here.
wherever we mention monitoring program, I think the partnering, I think makes a lot of sense. I just don't think we should mention monitoring multiple times.
but that's what citizen science would be valuable.
Well, if this is the place, that's fine, and then I'm saying we should.
Well, we
strike
need
the
it.
others.
Yeah, but all these are intertwined, it's tough to isolate.
I don't think we need a rule that we can only mention something once in the document. Like there can be a main section and then when you get to education, you might refer to it. But we're not gonna go into granular detail.
Right,
Yeah.
no, agreed.
It get missed otherwise.
Because otherwise,
I don't think it'll get
if
missed.
we had
I
that
think
rule,
if
we
you-
have to go through and a lot of other things
But
that.
then we'd have to go back
Here-
to the other place and work in on skill and diversity.
Right, exactly, and that's what I'm saying, I think we should, here's my way, and I'm not gonna dive into it, it's not, we don't have to spend a lot of time on this, but. The more places you mention something. The more likely it's gonna be a little bit different in each section, and the more complicated your instructions to your future self will be. Not only that, if you ever change something in a particular section and you don't change it in some other section. By accident, because you didn't catch it, you know, the more verbiage and the more repetition, the less efficient and the less. Sort of neat and clean it is, so I'm not totally opposed to having it here, I'm just saying. If the important part is putting partnerships for the monitoring program, we should say that one time. In wherever we leave the monitoring program, and I think we've all agreed that it's important, both for the forest and for the community, so. I don't think we'll miss it.
Could we do in one of our final edits? Go in and, for example, the word monitoring,
Right.
see where it falls in the document,
Yeah.
because when we've said it, the same thing 7 times,
Right.
we gotta get it down to 3.
Yeah, tops.
Yeah.
Right, okay, just using monitoring, but if we've also said the county forester
Yeah,
43 times.
Right.
We need to just make sure it's,
be efficient with that, yeah.
right, so it's, if there's a way to look at
Yeah,
a final edit,
that's right, maybe,
search words.
maybe you can gather some instructions, so from notes on the editing process, and one of them is. Look out for redundancies in actions and items.
Yeah, and I see you, Ian, I'll call on you in a second, just to respond to that, yeah, I think we can and should do that when we do that, the update. When we're sort of like rewriting it for formatting, something that I played around with, I don't know if we'll get to the appendix tonight, hopefully we will, but something I played around with but didn't include in the packet was. I actually ran the updated appendix against the last version of the eco section and the rec section.
Yeah.
And asked an LLM to basically identify redundancies and see like if I could cut stuff out.
Yeah.
And it basically cut out 20% of the appendix.
Yeah.
Because there was a bunch of overlap. So that's a really good use case.
Yeah.
I'm nervous about using AI for writing stuff.
Yeah.
Because I don't really trust it, but
Okay.
for it's really good at doing stuff like diff checks.
Yeah.
So it's like, can just build us a document and say like, all right, here, I want an analysis of like the whole document, how much redundancy is there and where would you cut stuff? And it's probably gonna say like, oh yeah, you've got education in like 5 different sections, you've got the forester in 3 sections, and it'll maybe give us some ideas for, okay, like here are ways that you could consolidate or cut. So I think that's actually a pretty good thing to check.
Yeah.
Even if we don't do anything with it, we could just run it through
Yeah.
AI and
Well,
say like, hey.
some of them might be
use
justified, you might say, oh, no, I want redundancies.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Other ones, you really be like, oh.
Yeah, we would have to go through the suggestions one by one, but I think it would still give us a good idea of like,
Mhm.
okay, well, just so you know, this is like the way that the document's built.
Yeah.
Ian?
Yeah, if I can jump back to the first bullet on the objective 4 about addressing monitoring, I think I'm agreeing with Dan that there's a potential overlap between education and monitoring of the impact of trails, but I've spoken before about we have material about monitoring impact of human presence and trails, are both on the trails themselves and the wildlife and ecological components that are being affected by the trail. So that is really, that's the primary issue. It belongs under recreation. And so in this educational section, we can recognize the overlap that some of the monitoring requires people to be present on site, to be making observations, to be recording data, and that has an educational component. But the primary objective of monitoring is not for education. The education is a potential adjunct and secondary. Well, getting to specifics of language, using education to develop a monitoring program, I believe, is incorrect. It should be exploiting educational benefits of involving citizens and students and others in the monitoring that has been used in a different section of the management plan.
Yeah, I agree.
So I guess it's the word develop, which I'm questioning is it should be, assist or complement or something like that rather than develop.
Yeah, in the management of the application of monitoring.
Yeah, I mean, are we really going to educate people about this, or like this again, this almost to me feels like a promotional thing where it's just like, do we want to be the educators about like how citizen science works, or do we want to just promote the forest as a location where people could practice citizen science stuff? It's like,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, like the Conservation Commission might be a better body to spearhead some of this like citizen science stuff than like this committee. Like we could coordinate with them. So it almost feels like we could retool this and maybe even lump in what we were talking about before about the music arts thing. And instead just say like, we want to promote the forest for things like citizen science and,
Right.
I don't know if we want to put like, music and arts or whatever in there, but that way we sort of have this umbrella where we're basically the messengers saying like, hey, we've got this great plot. You should use it for stuff like citizen science, but we're not the experts on how to do this stuff.
Right.
And we have a completely separate section, that will talk about monitoring, animal and human use in the forest. But that can live side by side with like some school wants to come and teach their students about how to do wildlife monitoring. They don't even have to know about our own monitoring program. It can still be used as an educational tool.
That's right.
Like that was happening last week at the town green. There's a UVM landscape design class, but like they're teaching those students on how to do landscape design, but they don't want to know all the things that we're doing in town because then they're not learning, right?
Yeah.
So just because we have a separate management or monitoring program doesn't mean you can't have a second one that's handled separately,
Which would be, but you're saying that's a little bit beyond our.
I think that honestly, engaging the community in citizen science efforts is kind of beyond the scope of like this committee, and then instead
support the engagement.
Well, I'm saying that engaging the community in citizen science efforts should be one bullet under a promote the forest, like
Under objective 6.
Although I don't know if that's education, so I guess it gets a little bit.
I think it's education. I mean, so there's a forest out here. You like citizen science? Here's a great place for it.
Yeah.
By the way, there's a forest out here.
Like promote educational opportunities in the forest or something like that.
I think I think that's good, but at the same time, I think there's the opportunity of using citizen scientists in a monitoring effort. To get if we have volunteers who are going to go out there and, walk transects, once a month.
Absolutely.
Sure, but that would be under the monitoring program. That wouldn't be under education.
Right. So
okay.
You see, so I think you're right about the partnerships. I think it would make it really, really compelling to have UVM students or CHNO students or whomever out there doing stuff.
Under educate,
But under the monitoring plan, wherever that ends up, which I don't think personally is in the public education.
Yeah, I tend to agree. So I think, I'm almost in favor of just removing this entire objective.
Yeah.
Promoting the forest doesn't feel like an educational item,
It's like marketing.
It's market, yeah, exactly. So
It might go in recreation.
You're promoting educational opportunities in the forest. I mean, that seems legit. That's one of our goals. It doesn't mean we have to do it part of the Conservation Commission or UVM. But I think we do want, even in the,
I'm
trying to remember, but I feel like education was in the easement language, or wasn't it?
Provide education opportunity.
Well, or the general
So
public.
I think we do want to have education section.
I'm not saying we don't get rid of the education section. I'm just saying I don't know if promotion belongs in education. Like educational promotion.
Yeah, promote educational opportunities. We're
Well,
not
it doesn't
trying to
need its own-
promote, like market.
Yeah.
We're trying to foster educational opportunities.
I just think we can tuck promotion into, I almost think it doesn't necessarily need its own objective, like to promote education. Like it almost seems like we could tuck it under,
Well, that's-
Yeah.
Education is not, you know.
It's not.
I don't know, I guess it could be its own thing. I'm a little
It
indifferent.
could be interesting, yeah. I mean, I don't think that means we shouldn't put it in. But I don't think it's something.
So-
The original management.
I'm sure, I mean,
I think objective 3 could say, because there we're talking about general public and just say,
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, increase access to nature-based programming for the general public.
yeah,
Sure.
I mean, anything in the forest is essentially gonna be nature-based, right? So,
citizen scientist.
like, so, yeah, just like promote educational opportunities.
Yeah, maybe, I like the term citizen science efforts.
I don't know if we're gonna promote educational opportunities, you know, I'm not sure that's, we're not gonna do that, you know what I mean? But.
Well, yeah,
but-
help some teachers out.
Well, but seek partnerships with,
Yeah,
you know, educational institutions.
Yeah, you have a great point. If we're putting promote educational opportunities in the forest in this document, what are we gonna do
Yeah.
about it? Are we gonna go table at the farmer's market? Are we gonna, stand outside of Richmond Market and tell people that they should go visit the forest? Are we gonna?
Encourage.
gonna go to the school.
Or
so-
endorse.
Right.
Endorse?
But we're looking for partners. We're looking for.
Yeah,
Hey,
so we gotta-
come do this. you know?
But that's also like under the potential education partnerships, like
Yeah,
where,
but we don't say how we're gonna use those partners.
yeah, but it's pretty self-explanatory. I would say that if you have a list of partners that you would wanna reach out to them.
And what do we wanna do though with them?
Well, that's a good question, but just saying promote educational opportunities in the forest doesn't do any more than having a list of partners does.
Yeah,
Just saying like, hey, you should promote this, doesn't mean we're actually gonna like, we have a plan for how we're going to promote it.
what I do think you're describing that is seeking out partnerships with educators to do something.
Mhm.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, which,
But you know.
we must already have that,
I mean,
you know, right? Don't we?
So, but- yeah,
Up in number 1's about the schools. Develop to kiosk, facilitate educational programs.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Oh, partner with educators, there we go.
yeah, we have that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so maybe it's already in.
Well, that's just
What do we
schools
missing?
and community groups. Not the general public.
But then general public is under number 3.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, right.
Maybe just move some of the things in 4 up to 3. Like citizen science. Not do the
So,
monitoring stuff.
so are we organizing like a training or an education for citizen science? Like,
No.
I guess it's not, to me, I just don't understand how,
Trying to create the environment where those things can happen.
but that's not, is that educating?
We're
Like,
fostering.
Right.
I guess, but like that, to me, that feels like promotion or like, I don't know, like, I guess, unless we're having a class, like, it's like, hey, here's how you use iNaturalist, like, here's how you should go into the forest and like use this tool.
Mhm.
Like, to me,
We're
increasing
endorsing.
access to nature-based programming for the general public is not like the same as like citizen science, like, I don't know. It's like, unless we're teaching a class or like promoting a class that's gonna tell people how to engage in citizen science, like,
If we're doing, yeah.
yeah. So,
If
I
we're
just-
endorsing it, are we not taking responsibility for it, but acknowledge that it's a use that we, of which we'd approve?
well, we can endorse it, but that. An endorsement to me, again, that feels like promotion and like marketing and not education. Like education is more of an active role in trying to pull people in and it's like engage them and basically tell them like, here's how to do X, Y, or Z. Versus just saying like, hey, just so you know, there's a forest in town and if you want to do some citizen science there, go for it. Yeah, it's like,
Let us
that's
know.
not education, that's just telling people about what like is around town and like, so to me, that just doesn't qualify as education. That's, I mean, it's a good thing to think about, like, yeah, I mean, it'd be great if we get more like citizen science efforts going around town, but I just don't know if they belong in the education section unless we have like what's that?
Encourage so that people will come with their motivated ideas and.
We
want
like,
to be welcoming to.
like Master Naturalists come, right? And they were in the forest, did a video last year. So what would we want to do? Just say support, encourage? Because that's education, but maybe we've got that covered. Right? It's letting other people educate on their properties, like facilitate educational programs. And that's a community group, that's covered in number one.
Educational purposes.
Yeah, I think that's already number one then, right? Provide education, it should say educational, I think, opportunities to local schools and community groups.
I
Right?
should also just put community groups and the general public. Public, lump them all together.
So there's, and then, yeah, then objectives 1 and 3 start to. We kind of lose that line, but maybe we should,
Oh, I see.
maybe 3,
Three has the.
maybe we meld 3 into 1.
Right. Oh, into one? I thought,
So we're educating
Yeah. I think we're getting too
little.
literal.
yeah, and I mean, I'm not gonna down any of these hills, I think, I don't think, I think if we leave it just like it is, it's fine. If we're looking to tighten it up a little bit, I think one thing you could do in that space between 3 and 4, Sam, is on that last bullet of objective 3.
Last bullet, this one.
Yeah, you could say, promote, seek partnerships for citizen science efforts and participatory monitoring and sort of monitoring things. But because I really don't talk about this, it'd be great if people were out there doing research for us, and that's the general public.
Right.
Citizen science, yeah,
See,
citizen science efforts or
yeah,
or just citizen science, whatever. And then you can just strike all of objective 4. Unless anybody.
Something about schools.
The schools are,
we have schools in number 1 though.
yeah.
Yeah,
schools are
okay.
covered.
Like, that's entirely about schools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I like that. I do think that objective 4 is just kind of weak. It's just like,
Yeah.
it just is just a little like disjointed and doesn't really have as much purpose or weight as the rest of these objectives. I think we want objectives that we feel like we can actually like clearly act on.
Seek partnerships for citizen science kind of says it all.
Yeah.
And then do you need to add the citizen science efforts, including platforms like iNaturalist? Does that help?
I don't know. I mean, citizen science seems like a pretty like broad.
Fine,
I don't know if we need to call it iNaturalist specifically.
fine.
It's catch all.
That's Master Naturalists, but they are listed.
Yeah.
Right.
they're- So then this becomes 4.
Yeah.
Support
We're in
environmental
a
literacy.
2-page document.
Okay, so yes, support environmental literacy through infrastructure and interpretation.
Center.
I was just thinking the same thing. What does that mean? Developing an
It's your
interpretive
house.
Yeah,
center.
it's Sonia on the front porch.
Yeah. It's like to donate your house to the town for as an educational center.
That seems ambitious.
Yeah, I don't know, yeah.
I don't know.
I agree.
I don't know. I think that whole bullet is ambitious. I like 1 and 3. I think those are important.
At least put 2 as number 3.
So I like the idea of bullet 3, but can somebody explain to me how accessibility and inclusivity are related to environmental literacy?
Oh, yeah, right. No, that's more in the general public piece, and it's
Allow included to get in.
Well, but is it education? You're making a good point.
Like, yeah, to me, I feel like,
Is it recreation?
yeah, accessibility and inclusivity.
Yeah, and infrastructure development, right, that's a good point. So that,
Yeah,
right, I think it's in recreation, you should lift that up to recreation, so infrastructure.
Well, I think we did put, we did put some accessibility stuff in recreation, so I think we're covered there.
About that.
But I just don't understand how that relates to environmental literacy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then also, I don't know what interpretive
Well,
center,
unless it means like, you know, put your signs in Braille.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know what I mean, like,
Yeah.
and put them at like wheelchair height or something like that.
Yeah.
yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
yeah, but again, I feel like you could like put some of that stuff under like. The design signage and I don't know, like accessible signage. And like maps.
yeah. Right, signs, well, okay. So point, right, bullet one is for all your kind of like, communication, in situ communication. And then bullet three says, when you make that communication, make sure it's accessible to whoever's there.
Yeah,
I think number two is way beyond what we're capable of.
What was your fix on bullet one? You're gonna slip that in somehow.
I just think with the bullet three, the way it is.
Yeah, oh, you would leave three.
I think, because, I mean, if you interpret it to me, make sure your signage is accessible and inclusive. then,
Yeah, to help visitors of all abilities.
Sure,
Understand.
sure.
Then you might not need three.
That's true, yeah,
so we're just getting rid of bullet two then?
unless anybody wants to defend the.
I am so
Establishment of
confused, I'm
terms.
so confused by it. I'm
I'm
not sure what like educational environmental town initiatives we would partner with.
Well, maybe Richmond Land Trust or
Invasive.
GYCC and.
Yeah, I guess like invasive species or something.
Ian Scott is in.
Oh, Ian? Sorry.
Could
Ian,
I,
did you?
could I jump in here?
Yeah, please.
I'm looking at the first bullet, which says design signage, maps and displays to help visitors understand ecological systems and human history. That's great. It just draws my attention way back to the challenges section. We had a challenge, the original text had a challenge that just had two words, minimal mapping, which is actually really misleading because we have an excess of superfluity of maps. We have so many of them. And so the challenge is actually to organize the available maps into a format that can be useful, for instance, under section 5 here that
Might have been an old challenge.
that's
Yeah.
relating to education.
Yeah, it's a good point.
So I like the text that we're looking at here under is it still objective 5, design signage, maps and displays? But I would like to go back, if it still exists, if that text still exists under challenges that stated minimal mapping, that should
Yeah, we
be
just get rid of the
something
bullet,
more
yeah.
like the available maps would benefit from organizing to focus on specific purposes or objectives.
And we may have that fixed by the time.
Yeah, I feel like we just remove this because I think it's not gonna be an issue by
Yeah.
the time this is published, so
Yeah.
I would just say we get rid of minimal mapping.
Yeah,
I still don't know where that leaves us where it leaves us with objective 4 and whether or not like we wanna keep. I mean,
for simplicity's sake, I would suggest we just strike bullet 2.
Yeah.
And then just leave the others. And, you may wanna add to bullet 3, infrastructure and signage development. Or signage and infrastructure.
yeah, no,
I agree. Otherwise, it's trail development.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Right.
that's good.
like we just say like educational
signage and interpretive infrastructure. Interpretative. I think that's when interpretative infrastructure, yeah, because otherwise, because Rex's right, we'd be talking about trails otherwise.
Well, I don't need the word development, just.
Yeah, that's right, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank, there it is.
All right, so for my little brain.
Yeah.
Educational infrastructure is signs.
Yeah, yeah.
Did we get the word in?
Let's call it signage. Just
Right.
Yeah.
So somehow,
Yeah.
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 What else
How
would
about
it be?
Great,
yeah,
Yeah.
bravo, bravo.
Great.
Concisier.
Okay.
Concisier.
Not bad for somebody with a concussion. That's impressive, yeah.
no, your office said I didn't have one.
Shows you the vein.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Hey, here's something on the challenges list. I think that risk management plan should actually be an action item for the recreation section.
A risk management, this thing?
Yeah. I mean, that's what we lack, true, let's make one and let's put it in the rec section, because what are people doing, they're walking around.
Yeah,
Risk management section. That actually opens us up for liability too.
just to say that we have no like risk management.
Right.
Do most town forests have a risk management plan? Is
I've
that?
seen emergency routes on
Yeah.
maps every now and then for where like an ATV will go, or they'll have like points on the map, marked, points 1, 2, 3, so then if you call somebody, are you near a sign? Are you near point
Oh,
one? Are you
okay.
near point 2, that kind of stuff.
So that is a to-do list item.
I think it's a to-do list.
I agree,
in the
I agree.
rec section.
Yeah, because it's not a challenge, it's just a,
See, consult with Richmond Rescue.
Right.
It's not education.
So where do we want to move it?
I'm saying rec, because I mean, rec is where people are, that's where the forest meets the people, right?
Yeah, let's say develop in this.
how about that, how about you highlight it and put, this needs to go into recreation,
Okay.
so that we're not watching.
Yeah.
Note to self.
Note to see.
And I would soften it so that we, just from a liability perspective.
It's an admission of guilt.
Consult with the town attorney.
Right.
Yeah.
Ian had a couple other
Yeah.
small things.
Oh yeah, we also need to do something with this text.
Okay, we're down to 8 minutes.
Yeah, we're definitely not getting to the appendix, I can tell you that much, because we are, we're only doing 2-hour meetings now, so.
And we made a lot of haste tonight.
We can finish this.
Yeah,
Progress.
that's right,
Right.
check it off.
Well, that buys Brad and I, but if it took us this long to get through this short little education section, we're gonna have maybe a couple meetings to work on that appendix, which means that buys Brad and I some time to work on the full management plan, but I think next meeting we'll probably mostly work on the appendix. But if we can get through challenges, I think we can probably agree on our partnership, so I know
Right.
we're like, quickly approaching the end of the meeting, but if we can just get through these few bullet points, we can just put a big check mark by education and we don't have to come back to it, so.
And you got some Ian outstanding points on.
Yeah, he's got, Ian, I'll walk down through the word changes you're suggesting. On the second bullet, limited accessible trails. He's
Yeah,
suggests
yeah.
saying terrain makes it challenging. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's under the challenges, a couple of things got my attention. Minimal parking capacity, I think, is better expressed as limited parking capacity.
Yeah,
And then the other one is lack of pedestrian access. Visitors will need to drive. Well, you can well imagine that I would like to insert bicycles there. So most visitors will want to drive or use a bicycle. The pedestrian access sure is a problem, but bicycles partly solve that. And I already mentioned the minimal mapping, which is what have we done? Eliminated that, I think.
Yeah.
Is that really a challenge? Like I'm thinking of like a lot of places, like most places in Vermont, if you want to go recreate, you're gonna get there by a car, you know, like is that really a big challenge? Like I get the parking thing, but is the ACF really less accessible to pedestrians than, I mean, maybe than like the you know, Preston trails or whatever, you know, that you can get to from like, you know, a few steps from like parking around church or whatever. But like, I don't know, to me, this doesn't seem like a huge challenge. Like there is a parking lot and most people drive when they need to go like recreate, right? Like if I want to go, you know, hike at
I
the
think-
Preston Reserve in like Bolton or Honey Hollow or like the Long Trail or whatever, I'm gonna drive there and I'm gonna park my car.
I think in this particular case, it's close to the village and there's no sidewalk.
Okay,
So that's, to me, that's the issue.
got it. Okay.
But there never will be because of the overpass.
But there may be other ways to
Right.
improve it, like say for other properties. You get
But
the
it-
trails.
Yeah, I mean, we've got to recognize that it's only just over a mile from the center of Richmond Village, you know, the traffic lights at the top of Main Street, so of Bridge Street. So, you know, a bicycle is really bicycle accessible. And so that's got to be included. At one point, I remember there was a statement somewhere in the management plan about putting in a bike rack. I don't know if it's still there, but right now, you know, you can chain your bike up to the kiosk, but there's no formal bike rack, which just serves as an encouragement to people to think about using a bicycle to get there instead of driving.
Yep.
That's my hobby horse. I always look for an opportunity to promote bicycles.
No, it's a good call out. Yeah, I added or bike to the end of that, and yeah, I get what people are saying, so I'm fine with leaving it.
So I do agree with whoever said on the second bullet, limited accessible trails. I think, do we need to, the trails are steep, is that what we're saying?
That's what, yeah, he was suggesting saying terrain makes it challenging to establish accessible trails.
Is it
To
in
kind of
wheelchair
recognize-
accessible?
What's that?
Does it mean wheelchair accessible?
No,
Or what does accessible mean?
yeah,
Oh, okay, that's a good question.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know if it's like, yeah, because it could just be like, well, if you want to bring a, you know, class, you know, like a middle school class, like is it, yeah, it's just the steepness. It's not necessarily for disabled people. It could just be like, this isn't really conducive to like having a good field trip because you're gonna have to hike up like the access road or.
So it's kind of covered by steep terrain in parts of the forest, the top of
but I think we should say, steep trails, many steep trails or the steep trails may limit Andrews Community Forest accessibility.
How about steep terrain in parts of the forest limit accessibility?
yeah.
Sure. Well, yeah, that's absolutely true.
Like that?
But also, even near Route 2, the terrain is very steep. I mean, that's the challenge with the parsec.
Yeah.
Other than the landing and where the power lines are, there's nothing flat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not only is I think I guess I'd like to say, have us say something about, access is somewhat limited because of the steep trails.
Okay.
Steep terrain.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
How steep terrain
Well, it's kind of what you
creates
said.
accessibility challenges?
Limits.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the
accessibility.
word,
What are you trying to get at?
I'm trying to say the trails are steep.
Well,
Yeah.
steep terrain and trails
Oh, okay, all right,
in parts, in the forest.
yeah, all right, steep terrain and steep trails.
Or steep terrain and trails. Yeah. I
How
don't
about
know
we
if you-
just get rid of in parts of,
Right.
because like most of the property is pretty steep. There's very few flat places.
Yeah,
So,
Steep terrain and trails limit forest accessibility, or limit accessibility.
yeah,
You need forest.
right, because it is a forest.
Yeah,
Okay, so then
So
you get
then
rid of the
get rid-
second one.
get rid of that one.
limited parking.
Yeah.
Pedestrian, is that an issue though with education? I mean, is that limiting or? I guess if the educated can't walk.
Yeah, if you're planning a daycare visit,
Yeah,
oops, wait a minute, you gotta drive there, scratch that. If you're planning.
You're right. Well, it's absolutely true. We're not gonna get daycare groups.
Yeah,
We're not gonna get first and second graders,
yeah.
because they're gonna get a little ways above the parking lot.
Yeah.
And they're out of gas.
sit down
Well, that might be just as well, considering the fact that we've got so many ticks.
Yeah.
Right,
uh,
right,
In the forest.
yeah.
That, you know, I don't know.
So you're gonna make, is that a keeper, ticks?
I don't know, I added it.
Yeah, I
think it's a keeper.
yeah,
I think people should know about it, speaking about education, like, people should know if they're getting themselves into.
right.
A lot of ticks in that.
It's south facing, boom.
Oh, is that
I
one?
mean, on that.
Yeah, it's
you know,
warmer,
Yeah, right.
right? Then there's a lot of deer south facing, there's a lot of mice south facing.
I mean, yeah, I think if my final tick count on that walk that the three of us took for the boundary lines, like, I pulled 150 ticks off my dog that day.
Wow.
Yeah, oh my God.
And we were in meadows, by and large, we were in the woods.
Yeah,
That's.
I mean, 150 in a single day.
That dog is big, by the way.
Yeah, a lot of surface area, that's for sure.
Hey, look at that.
Okay, so we're gonna move this, and
At
then,
some point, yeah.
I guess, we're probably fine on the educational
Well,
partnerships.
he's
Ian
got a
points
couple
out that,
corrections.
that the scouts are no longer called the Girl and Boy Scout troops, they're called Scouting America.
Yeah.
All right,
In the Richmond Science or Senior Center, he gives us a correct name on that.
This is called Scouting America.
Scouting
Yeah.
America.
Boys and girls together.
Yep.
The former are under that, okay. I didn't know that.
Yes.
right after Richmond Senior, whoops.
Whoops. How did the ends get? I guess those are.
It's the bug that did it.
Yeah, it's- whoops.
Beatles.
Sorry, I don't even know where I am.
Yeah.
Okay, then right above it, that should be Huntington. Richmond.
Yeah, it used to have three towns. It was Huntington, Richmond, Bolton. But I looked
Yeah.
at the website and it seems to be just Community Senior Centre now, so it doesn't.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not sure the name actually includes the towns anymore.
Yeah.
We might want to
That's,
check up on that.
Thank you.
That's about it anyway.
Yeah,
You wanna add
County forest.
after naturalist?
Oh, you done?
sure.
Oh, yeah.
It's here.
You did?
It is.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just, do we want to get rid of the word thus, the Nature Conservancy?
No. it's
Oh,
a
that
TNT.
either
No,
way.
All right, fine.
So should this be under N though?
What?
Like, do we want?
No, the Nature Conservancy in all their literature is TNC.
Oh, okay,
Mhm.
Fine.
and then I guess
I don't know about the Mohegan Band of Nation.
I will leave it.
it's fine. We'll
Yeah.
do it, Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, any other notes?
Well, you got University of Vermont, and then the next one down is UVM. So do you want to just do UVM for everybody?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we all know what UVMs around here.
Yeah. Oh, this is great work, folks.
We have, go down, who else is in Vermont? We have agency, in- We could-
Parks and Rec.
we could just say Agency of Natural Resources, and that would cover fish and wildlife and forest parks.
Okay, that would be the first item.
So Vermont Agency of Natural Resources.
Oh. Sorry,
No, I.
do you want the word Vermont in there?
Yeah,
Sorry,
My bad.
no, I sent you the wrong way.
Vermont,
right above covert.
yeah.
Whoops. And,
Okay, so
Then you get rid of forest parks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was Fish and Wildlife on here? No,
That's,
They're under ANR.
okay, cool.
ANR is the thing.
yep,
All right, any other thoughts on these?
I mean, again, that's an indicative list of possibilities, so
Yeah,
there could be more,
There could be
yeah.
1,000 more partners out there, and that's okay.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, I guess we'll call it on education then, and we will move on to, yeah, nice work. Wow, we did a whole section in one night.
All right, so are we closing the meeting? I gotta,
Yes, so, yeah, on to closure, so, business for upcoming meetings, does anyone have anything they wanna talk about, aside from what was already covered tonight? No, okay, well, we'll at least talk about the copy editor timeline stuff. I mean, the big thing next time is probably gonna be the appendix, which we didn't get to. I will take the opportunity to, well, you guys have it now, but remind everyone that the newly circulated version of the appendix, which was not properly included in the packet because of the PDF conversion. I sent an email out today that has a docx version that actually has the changes that were just magically removed when I exported it to PDF. So I basically said like, oh, check out the new version that has all this updated language, and it had nothing new in it. It was the old one. So you might have looked at it and been like, well, I don't see, this doesn't seem any better for recreation. So now you should see all those changes, and I do think it's a lot more balanced. But yeah, you guys can, if you
In the
want.
most recent packet, correct?
No, it's on the packet's in an email. So the packet, which I sent to Duncan, had a
Okay.
PDF. I should have checked the PDF before I sent it to Duncan. But I was looking at the document that had all of the comments and stuff on it.
Yeah.
And it looked good to me, so I said export to PDF, and then I attached that PDF to the email without opening it, and it just didn't have any of the
I've
changes. So
seen it do that before, you know, that it shows highlights, you know, if it's printed in red,
yeah.
it shows that. And
Yeah,
why it
I
did
don't
that.
know why I did it, but in any case, it didn't matter because we didn't get to it today, but that is ready for, for people's viewing pleasure and comments. Yep, and so, yeah, as we determined last time, we're just doing 2 hour meetings now. The next 2 dates, based on our current cadence are, the 23rd, and then March 9th. What I will note is that on the 23rd, there's a town, we'll be in here again because there's a town informational budget meeting for the town meeting day. I will need to step out for part of the meeting to go present the Richmond Conservation Commission CRF renewal stuff. So somebody's gonna have to, well, we're gonna need at least 6 people here for one, and for two, somebody's gonna have to take the reins for a few minutes. It took me about, it was probably a 30-minute presentation between presentation and questions. I'm assuming that meeting's gonna be more heavily attended than the one that happened this past Saturday. So yeah, I'll throw that out there because, and I'll remind folks during via email, but I will be here, and then hopefully I can get, Josh or, Duncan or somebody can just run over and say like, hey, you're in, and then I'll walk over there and do that, and then I'll come back, but.
I'll be out of town for the next 2.
Okay, good to know. Well then, yeah, if you have a chance.
Quick question,
Sure, what's up, Ian?
the timeline, do we have a plan for getting the timeline to Ruth at the TV? For the Mount Mansfield TV?
Yeah.
Or do I
Right.
need to do anything, or have you got that handled?
Wright's got it. Wright did timekeeping, so he's got the timestamps with the stopwatch.
Good, thanks.
And Julian, if you're gonna be out, yeah, I mean, if you have any interest, I would love to hear any general or specific comments you have about the combined appendix. I think we did rectify a lot of the concerns you had about it being sort of like, kind of being apologetic about recreation, and it being sort of like, well, I guess we'll permit it instead of promoting it, which is what the easement calls for, is like, so yeah, if you're not gonna be here, just make sure you get some comments in,
And did you said that now?
I sent it today.
Oh, you did send, okay.
So it should be, I sent it was at like 11 or something,
Okay.
After I realized Brad had notified me and I realized it was not correct, so
Starts from.
all right, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
please do.
Second.
Hey.
All in favor?
Yeah.